He was David versus Goliath.
He's understated.
He's about making things happen.
Not only a great lawyer, but a great person.
Dick is a man of action.
He impacted the world, he impacted students, he impacted the community, and he impacted me.
So I was in a class that entered the new Northeastern Law School class in 1973. Dick Daynard was my contracts teacher. Anyone who could find humor in contracts was someone I wanted to know better.
We were smokers, and we smoked in the classroom. Dick's instinct at the time was not to confront those people in the classes that smoked, but rather to create and to begin a dialogue on the rights of smokers versus the rights of people who were subjected to secondhand smoke.
When I was a student of his, I came in thinking you're gonna help people as a lawyer, one client at a time. He really changed my thinking about that you can use the law and logic and creativity to help populations.
I think our friendship was cemented one night when I took the tea with him as it was getting dark. I'm sitting there with Dick, and on come these local toughs, and they're smoking. And Dick, of course, in his very polite but firm way, says, "Could you put out your cigarettes, please?" And I'm sort of hiding under the seat by that point, because I did want to live through the tram ride. But even there, he took them on. All of us have opinions of things we'd like changed. The difference is Dick Daynard actually went out and did it.
This morning in your written statement and your oral statement, you compared cigarettes to coffee, tea, sweets, sugar, warm milk, cheese, chocolate, and Twinkies. That's quite a list. I'm struck by what I think is a calculated attempt to trivialize the devastating health impacts of your product.
Well, in early 1994, I think a lot of things that Dick had been working on around the tobacco industry and the legal fight came together, sort of a confluence of events. One of them was the Waxman hearings, where the CEOs of all 7 cigarette companies at the time came before Congress and blatantly and obviously lied before Congress.
I believe nicotine is not addictive.
I believe that nicotine is not addictive.
I believe that nicotine is not addictive.
The tobacco industry was Goliath. You never challenged them for anything. They were just so powerful. The fact that anybody would try to challenge their power and their influence was unheard of, particularly from a legal point of view.
The rules of litigation, the rules of civil or criminal litigation, should not be changed for the benefit of the tobacco companies.
So Dick was David. He was David versus Goliath. And when he first started articulating this strategy, everyone said, "Oh, this is just not going to work," and go away. But he persevered. He brought evidence and power.
The litigation that Dick was so influential in creating and facilitating resulted in tobacco companies being held legally responsible for the very first time. The new wave of tobacco litigation that Dick made possible, particularly the states suing the industry for medical costs, brought the companies to the negotiating table.
Litigation is uniquely capable of getting through all the things we haven't thought about, all the tricks the tobacco companies can come up with that we haven't figured out, but they're busy working on right now, and come in and say, "No, that's fraudulent. That's negligent. You failed your standard of ordinary care there. You SOBs, use their language, you did it again. And we're not going to let you get away with that."
At a time when it really did look impossible, he took on the tobacco companies very early, helped develop the strategy, the evidence, the political push to really change the world. It's extraordinary.
In 1998, the Master Settlement Agreement was the largest civil litigation settlement in U.S. history. Essentially, the biggest cigarette companies in the United States agreed to change the way they marketed their products. No billboards, no cartoons, no sports sponsorships, and they also agreed to pay many billions of dollars to state governments in perpetuity.
Yeah, so the Master Settlement Agreement was a great example of Dick's power and influence. So when that Master Settlement Agreement was announced, it was a stunning chapter in public health history and showed the power of litigation for the good.
And it really was a David versus Goliath situation. And soon it became not a David, the anti-tobacco forces, against Goliath, the tobacco companies, but soon it became the Goliath of the assault on tobacco by Dick and his team against big tobacco, which now wasn't so big and wasn't so scary.
Today is a milestone in the long struggle to protect our children from tobacco. This settlement between the state attorneys general and the tobacco companies is clearly an important step in the right direction for our country. It reflects the first time tobacco companies will be held financially accountable for the damage their product does to our nation's health.
Well, I think Richard's legacy is in the area of tobacco. Clearly, that's where people have seen his work. He leads by example. And I think that's really important about social justice and change and activism. And I think all those things he sort of epitomizes.
Dick is a man of action. I mean, he is an academic, he's a scholar, but that's not what he's about. He's about making things happen.
He's a cause guy, so he was worried about predatory gambling,
climate change,
tobacco control globally,
obesity.
I think he's really interested in guns.
I think the most valuable lesson is if you believe in a cause or a mission, then you should really think about it, strategize, and execute. And that's the great thing about Dick. It's not just a vision and a thought, it's actually how do you get there step by step.
Richard was as committed to Northeastern almost as tobacco. And so he spent 20 years on the faculty senate, being head of the Senate Agenda Committee, coming up with a core curriculum, all of these things because he thought it would make Northeastern a better place.
I met Dick Daynard on day one. He is a person who, for me, represents Northeastern.
Northeastern University School of Law, there's no question about it. The commitment to the public interest, the passion in the students and the passion in the faculty, it really was where he was meant to be. It couldn't have been a more perfect fit.
I'm really, really grateful for Dick and for Carol. Dick and Carol, we are thanking you. We love you.